So guys, we've decided to come to Preston Park Museum. We'll put down in the link below the location of it, and it's got a quite unique. So it's got quite a unique feature because it's got a street there from the 1800s, so you get to see how they lived in the 1800s. So join us.
Join us.
So this is the entrance to the museum. Woo! And I'll just take you over here. This is what it's going to cost us.
Adult £2.50, child
yeah.
£1.50, family.
And a family ticket, which is exceptional value, and that's what we're going to get. Opening times Tuesday to Sunday, 10 AM till 4 PM. Let's go then. Through the doors and get our tickets. So the first thing you see, Josh, is the amazing caution wet floor sign. But underneath the floor is a massive clock, yeah, and it's actually operating as well, isn't it? Yeah, which is pretty cool. They do have a police officer in there and actual people dressed up. So this is the entrance to the Victorian Street, I believe they call it Walker Street. So this is where they used to get the water from, Josh, because in the olden days they didn't have access to running water in the properties, so they used to come to a well, and this would be one of the wells that they used to get the water from. So the first shop we come to is the dress and hat makers. Shall we have a look in? This is the dress and hat makers from the Victorian days. So here's all the hats. Stick one on. Let's see you with it on. That one? That one? Oh yeah. Look great with that on. And we've got all the little dresses that you can dress up with. Do you fancy putting a dress on?
No.
No, didn't think. All the different materials and buttons that you used to be able to get in the Victorian days because there was no supermarket. So. Oh, that's really, do you know what that one hat reminds me of? What? Mary Poppins. Looks like a bit of a Mary Poppins hat, that, doesn't it?
It is.
Yeah. So there they say, funerals conducted in a most careful manner. So, what you see here is the old Victorian public toilets. So back in the day, they didn't have toilets to go to, so they used to have just these in the street. And if we peer around the corner here, we can see this is where the gentlemen used to go for a wee in the public.
And there's nothing there.
So all they used to do is just pee up against
where no toilet is.
Here.
There's no toilet.
Yep, that's all they used to do back in the Victorian days. Josh, is just pee up against there in the middle of the street. That is gross, yeah, it is when you look at it nowadays. Alright, this is one we're probably interested in. This is a chocolate. Yeah? Let's have a go in, let's have a look. Hello? We've come to buy some chocolate, please. That's the scales to measure out your chocolate. So you'll ask for £1, yeah? £1 worth of chocolate in weight, not in money, yeah? So you put that on there, and then you put your chocolate in there, and then when it levelled out, like that, yeah? I mean, you would have £1 worth of chocolate.
What colour is that?
No, that's just a fake pork pie I had. They wouldn't do it with pies.
No.
No, just do it with like cocoa beans or chocolate. Yeah, they've got a little cake stand in the corner there.
What kind of toothpaste is that?
All the old tins. All enamel signs that they used to use for advertising.
People might be interested behind you.
What is it? Oh, this is really interesting, and this is historic for the area. So, John Walker was the inventor of the friction match. So he invented the friction match that's used around the world to the day. So we'll go inside. He was originally from Stockton. So push. Is it open?
I'm not sure.
Oh, no. Yep, it's open. Well, let's go inside and have a look. Good morning.
Morning.
So is it right that was John Walker who invented the friction match?
He did.
Yes, and
Yeah.
this was really the typical type of place he...
It was purely by accident, as most things were in those days.
Right?
He was actually doing work for the army, and he was for explosives.
All right.
And he made a mixture up. He dropped some on the stone floor, and it sparked, and that set off a eureka moment.
Very good.
I'll show you. There is a thing about him in the museum itself, obviously, with all the information that you need.
Oh, hey, oh, there's the police.
He didn't patent it. This is Sergeant Jones.
Yeah.
And that's basically what
Oh.
it would have looked like. It was just a piece of wood, and then the
So it's flat.
yeah.
Right. Very good.
And that was the sort of like original of the friction, but he didn't patent it, so he didn't get the benefit of it.
Right. Oh, that's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah, some other companies came along and took his invention, and they made the money.
All right.
So, because they were called Lucifers
What?
originally, Lucifers, like the devil, Lucifer the devil from
Ah.
hell. They called them Lucifers.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
So there you are. That's
intriguing.
something else you've just learnt as well today.
We have.
But you've got to remember, he was a chemist as well. So he made all the medicines and things, and all. We don't have nice tasting medicines in here, mind. No strawberry flavoured Calpol, I'm afraid, in Victorian chemists. My medicines taste pretty grotty, and I remember them very well from being a girl. Really were horrible. Now you can have a sniff at this and tell me what you think. Have a good smell. It's not a medicine, so it won't.
Go on, Constable, have a smell.
Have a good smell.
What did it smell?
It smells, but I can't really tell.
I don't. Soapy, is it?
It is.
Is
Yeah.
it?
No,
Yeah.
it's not,
The real
not a
stuff.
very nice smell, is it?
No.
No, I didn't think it
Uh,
was. That's why I said to you. So remember I said no nice tasting medicines? That is carbolic soap, the original carbolic soap. But we also have it as a mouthwash. So if you had some ulcers in your mouth, or maybe a bad throat, we'd give you some of that to gargle round to make it
Right.
better.
Do you think that's where when they used to say we used to wash your mouth, wash your mouth out?
That's
Yeah.
where it came from. Yes,
Ah.
exactly. Yes, so if you said a naughty word,
Yeah.
Mum would have said, right, wash your mouth out with soap and water. So that's where it came from.
Hey, see, I'm learning. I'm learning here.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's where it came from. And don't forget, of course, we used to use the leeches, which would have lived in that jar there.
What?
You notice there's air holes.
Right.
So they would breathe, so there would be water in the bottom, and then they would breathe through the air holes.
Oh, and was that for cuts and?
They use that for the bloodsuckers. They're purely bloodsuckers.
Right.
That's all leeches are. They just live on blood, human or animal. They don't care. But in Victorian times, we thought that if you had an illness, it was an imbalance of the four humours, and one of the humours is blood, and that was the easiest one that they could dispose of, thinking it would make you better. So that's why they use the leech, and that's what a leech looks like. Look.
Would you,
See?
do you like one of them to suck your blood? No.
And that's what it looks like when it's been sat on your arm or your leg for quite a while, and it's quite full of blood now. So they were great believers in letting blood, because they used to think that if they got the bad blood out, then it would balance up the four humours again, and you'd be okay. Now, it sounds
Yeah.
stupid, but that's
No, but
what
it's
they did.
interesting, isn't it?
That's what they did.
Well, I suppose it's evolution, though, isn't it? Because we use maggots.
Yeah, we use
Oh,
maggots,
yes,
Maggots
today.
nowadays, don't we?
They've come back now.
Yeah, they're-
And leeches, they use leeches today as well.
Right.
I mean, they are specially bred somewhere in Wales. I don't know where, but somewhere in Wales they're specially bred. And they use them for people that have had a lot of skin grafts. You know, if they've been badly
Yeah.
burned and you have to have a lot of skin graft, well, you know yourself, if you don't get the blood to flow through it straight away, it just
Yeah,
fizzles and just dies.
Yeah.
So if they're having trouble, they will use those to try and keep the blood flowing.
Get that circulation, yeah.
To get the circulation going, yeah. And maggots, they use maggots today. They use those mainly for people that have had or have got open ulcers and things, particularly diabetic people, because they don't heal.
Right.
So they use the maggots to try and, because they only eat rotting flesh, they don't eat the fresh. So they'll eat all the rotting flesh and leave the good.
Been no good for zombies then, would they?
No.
No, definitely not.
No. But again, they're specially bred.
Yeah.
What, the zombies?
Oh, I don't know about that. But the maggots are definitely, they again,
Yeah.
they come in little like tea bags, sterile tea bags. They use
Right.
them in the hospitals,
Oh.
obviously, you know, kept under sterile conditions naturally. So some of the
good,
old
yeah.
things still work.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
Why not?
Well, that's if it
Why not?
works.
If it works.
Yeah, if it works.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does look fantastic in here though, doesn't it?
Yeah. So if I was making some pills, I would have used this. So shall I show
Yeah,
you?
I'll take that off you while you...
Oh,
Oh,
got it.
well caught, sir. You're a
So
cricket
if I was
man.
making some pills, I would have made it from various herbs and spices and roots that you can see there. Then they get ground down in the pestle and mortar till it's just a fine powder. And then I make a glucose mixture and I get a big pill base that looks like that. Which obviously you couldn't swallow it, could you? Because it's far too big. So what I do is I put it on here and I'm going to roll it out like this until I've got a long sausage shape like this. Like so. And there you have all those little pills. You can see they're all now exactly the same size. Like that. And they're just the right size to swallow now, aren't they? So that was how we made our...
Well, thank you. That's,
We did everything.
thank you very much. That's been very interesting.
Go and see Sergeant Jones is still in the police station.
Well, we'll go to the police station
Go
now.
and see if
That's
he's
it.
there.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
What's happening?
We have to go to the police station, she said, to see if Sergeant Jones is. He's the police station here. So let's go to the police station. Oh,
Oh, hello.
good morning, Sergeant.
Is this loitering person with you?
Yes, indeed, yeah.
Loiter on the streets of Victorian times, you know. Go on in and have a look round. Right, and this is a police station from 1895, right? Have you any idea who that lady is up there?
The Queen?
Yes. Do you know which one?
No, not really.
You haven't been taught about it at school then, eh? Well, that's Queen Victoria. And that was our Queen for 40 years. And she was the longest serving monarch until Queen Elizabeth came along, and now she's the longest serving. Right now, everything you see in here is how it would have been back in Victorian times, right? So if you'd like to come through and have a look in our cell,
Let's have a
that's what a
look.
cell looked like.
Let's have a look at the.
You can go down, we won't shut the door
So this is
behind
that
you.
Victorian prison cell. Have a look. Go through the door. Wow, there's not much space. Is there? Oh, look what's in the bucket.
Poo.
Poo.
Don't look in the bucket.
Oh, there's not much space, is there?
No, all you
No.
get is a bed.
A bucket, a wooden bed and a blanket.
Yeah. These are called holding cells rather than, you know, your
Wow.
prison cells.
Just wooden.
It's right on there. Who was in the cell?
Today,
What?
It's right in there. On who was in the cell? Who's in there? Keep it quiet.
You just stay there for a second, look, right? So the door would be shut, we'd have a little on there, but it's gone missing. So that would be like that, look, right? And then you come along and say, right, there's your porridge. So you'd put it on there and I'd eat it, and put it back on there, and then you come along and you take it and put it in there, right? And you would take your pots and pans and give them all a clean as well, right? There you are, put your hands in there.
Are you covered? Look at
Right.
the stocks they used to lock them up in there.
And this is what it would have been like, because these are 120 years old, so it's that. and they belong to that policeman there.
Right, so they're not actually replicas.
No, they're not replicas.
The real deal?
They're the real deal. They were donated to us by the family.
Wow. So how old did you say?
120 years old.
120-year-old
Yeah.
truncheon.
Right.
And 120-year-old handcuffs.
That's right, a 120-year-old prisoner. There you are, prisoner. Now, if you'd like to go and sit in the sergeant's chair, Constable John Metcalf there was Stockton and Darlington Railway's first railway policeman.
Oh.
The very first one.
Right.
And the actual painting is hung in one of the big museums in London. So we managed to get a copy.
Wow.
And we put it up there. So all these, that's my wife's great granddad.
No way.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Let's get on.
And that hat that you see there is this one. And all I've done is change the ball top.
What's that actual?
That's his hat.
Right.
That's his hat. What, his hat?
No, that one there.
That one, so that hat there.
That hat there, yeah.
Is that?
It's just,
Oh, yeah.
we're just changing it round a bit.
It's just. That's actual. That's not a replica either.
No.
Wow.
And if you think that one's one, wait, I'll show you this one. This is very, very rare.
That's the longest hat I've ever seen.
This one is from 1840. This is a real one that I've refurbished, right? And this is what the peeler, the very first policeman, that's the uniform there, look. And this is the hat that he would have worn. See, back in Victorian times, we weren't very big,
Right.
you know. Oh no, that's cool. Oh, hang on, no, put that in your other hand. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
What's up, officer?
Severe. And you've got the, because we all wore beards in them days.
Beards and them days.
Yeah.
Why is that the prison as
A
well?
4-boy team of pickpockets, professional pickpockets, right? The youngest one was 10 and the oldest one was 14. Right.
Is Peter Hay Jones the oldest one?
He's no relative to me, I've checked. So yes, we did. Eventually, they did get caught and they got 5 years.
How long did he get?
Did they have a gang leader?
Was he the-
Yes, we never. Believe it or not, we've not found any record of him being found,
Right.
or I should say arrested. You know Fagan?
Yes.
It was somebody like that because
Yeah.
in this area there was gangs all over the place. So yes, we, as far as we can ascertain, oh that was a big word, wasn't it?
That's yeah.
Victorian policeman. Yeah, we've had no record of him. It doesn't mean he hasn't been caught, but and this lady here, she was a murderess and she was hung.
Oh.
Yeah. This Mr. Joseph Roberts was a posh criminal. He robbed the rich and he never hurt anybody. So he stole jewels, lots of money. When he was arrested, because he had money, he was allowed to have a sepia photograph. So he paid for it himself. So those at the end there, they're what the police would take.
I find this quite intriguing because they've got the way they've got the hands.
They've all got
Well,
hands
to
the same.
start, yeah, you see, to start with, before we had fingerprints, that was a sign of if they had rings, tattoos, around it all. Because you had £1 to have that photograph taken, and then a side one would cost you £2. But obviously back then it was only coppers. But
Yeah.
so that's what they do now. You only pay for one photograph.
photo.
What could you see?
Yeah.
Do you see all these?
Yeah, because we've got the mirror.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And then it went right round the country, and that's how they started.
So that's efficiency in the Victorian days, then, isn't it?
Oh, she is.
Yeah.
Because she's in the...
That was the murderess. This was a lady that used to steal from clothes shops. Expensive clothes. So,
Very good. Well, that's very good.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank you.
All of them ones not been found.
no, everyone that you can see on here, everyone that has a picture has been caught.
Yeah, but because this is so long ago, they were all gone to the stars now, aren't they?
Yeah. So if we're lucky, later on, we can look public notice. There's a public hanging
Oh
today.
yeah, we need a volunteer for that.
Oh.
Would you like to be hanged?
Yeah.
Right. So now we're at the blacksmith, and this is a fully operational blacksmith. I think we'll cover this later through the year because you can book experiences to try out blacksmithing. So we'll cover this in a later vlog. But as you can see, all the tools and equipment and presses here. That's the first glimpse of the Victorian blacksmiths. So now we come to Edwin John Inch Undertakers, and that's the old Victorian hearse, and you would have to be extremely wealthy to afford your coffin to be taken to the church in there. Right guys.
I'm not ready.
Right. Hope you enjoyed the vlog. Thanks for watching, guys.
Remember to press up. Oh.
Here we go.
Yep, go later.
Thanks for watching, guys. See you later. Bye.
Remember